Most people buy the wrong .357 Magnum revolver for one simple reason. They buy the one that looks the most powerful, or the one that gets the loudest praise online, or the one that feels impressive in the gun store for 5 minutes. But a great .357 revolver is not just about looks. It is about balance, timing, trigger feel, cylinder strength, barrel length, recoil control, carry comfort, durability, and whether the revolver actually fits the job you bought it for. Because the truth is, the .357 Magnum is one of the most useful revolver cartridges ever made. It can fire full power, 357 Magnum loads, and most .357 revolvers can also fire 38 special for cheaper, softer practice. That makes the platform flexible, but the revolver itself matters a lot. A lightweight snub nose. .357 is not the same as a heavy hunting revolver. A classic service revolver is not the same as a competition gun, and a beautiful collector's piece is not always the best real-world choice. So today, we're looking at the 10 greatest .357 Magnum revolvers of all time. Not just the most famous, not just the most expensive, but the revolvers that truly earned their place. And number 1 is still the standard almost everyone else gets compared to. Number 10, Taurus 66. The Taurus 66 may not have the prestige of Smith Wesson or Colt, but it deserves respect. For many shooters, this was one of the more affordable ways to get into a medium frame .357 Magnum revolver without spending premium money. The Taurus 66 usually offers a 6-shot or 7-shot cylinder depending on generation, adjustable sights, and a practical frame size that handles .357 Magnum better than tiny snub-nose revolvers. That is its strength. It gives regular shooters access to a usable .357 platform. Not just a revolver that looks powerful, but one that can actually be shot without feeling punishing. Now, it is not perfect. Fit and finish can vary more than premium revolvers. The trigger usually is not as refined as a Smith & Wesson, and long-term collector value is not the same as Colt or older S&W models. But for value, practicality, and honest range use, the Taurus 66 has earned a place in the conversation. It is not the king, but it is one of the most underrated .357 revolvers ever made. Number 9, Ruger GP100. The Ruger GP100 is the definition of strong. This revolver was built for people who actually shoot .357 Magnum. Not just carry it, not just talk about it, shoot it. The GP100 has a heavy frame, strong cylinder lockup, and a reputation for durability that few revolvers can match. It may not have the smoothest factory trigger compared to a classic Smith & Wesson, but it makes up for that with strength and reliability. This is the kind of revolver that can handle a steady diet of Magnum loads better than many lighter designs. That makes it excellent for range shooting, trail use, hunting backup, and anyone who wants a revolver that feels like it was built with extra steel in all the right places. The downside? Weight. The GP100 is not the easiest revolver to carry all day, and some shooters may find it less elegant than a Colt Python or S&W Model 19. But if you want a tough .357 revolver that can take abuse and keep working, the GP100 is one of the greatest. Number 8. Smith & Wesson Model 66. The Smith & Wesson Model 66 is basically the stainless steel version of one of the most respected service revolvers ever made. It is a K-frame .357 Magnum, which means it offers a lighter, handier feel than larger L-frame or N-frame revolvers. That is what made it so popular. It carried well, it pointed naturally, and it gave shooters .357 Magnum power in a revolver that did not feel oversized. For law enforcement, home defense, and general use, the Model 66 became a favorite. But here's the honest part. Older K-frame .357 revolvers were not designed for endless heavy Magnum abuse the way a Ruger GP100 or S&W 686 can handle it. They are excellent revolvers, but they should be understood correctly. The Model 66 shines as a practical carry and service revolver, especially when used with sensible loads and regular or .38 special practice. It is not the biggest, it is not the strongest, but it may be one of the best balanced .357 revolvers ever made. Number 7. Ruger Security 6. Before the GP100 became Ruger's famous tank-like .357, there was the Security 6, and many revolver fans still love it. The Ruger Security 6 was lighter and more graceful than the GP100, but still built with Ruger toughness. It served law enforcement, civilian shooters, and outdoorsmen for years. What makes the Security makes 6 special is its balance. It is not as heavy as a GP100. It is not as delicate as some lighter revolvers. It feels like a real working gun, a revolver that was meant to be carried, shot, scratched, cleaned, and used again. The downside is that it is no longer in production, so condition matters a lot when buying one today. Some examples are excellent, some have been shot hard, but historically, the Security 6 deserves its place. It helped build Ruger's reputation in the .357 revolver world, and for many shooters, it remains one of the best practical wheel guns ever made. Number 6. Smith & Wesson Model 27. The Smith & Wesson Model 27 is where .357 Magnum history gets serious. This is one of the most iconic revolvers ever built. It traces its roots back to the original .357 Magnum Revolvers of the 1930s, when the cartridge itself was introduced as a high-performance revolver round. The Model 27 is built on Smith & Wesson's large end frame, giving it strength, weight, and a premium feel. It is elegant, powerful, beautifully finished in classic versions, and historically important. The Model 27 was never just another revolver. It was a flagship, a revolver that showed what .357 Magnum could be when built with style and strength. The downside? It is large, it is heavy, and for everyday carry, many shooters prefer smaller frames. But as a classic .357 Magnum revolver, the Model 27 is one of the true legends. It is not just great because it shoots well, it is great because it helped define the entire category. Number 5. Colt King Cobra. The Colt King Cobra brings serious modern appeal into the .357 revolver world. It is not as famous as the Python, but that may actually make it more practical for many shooters. The modern King Cobra gives shooters a strong medium-frame revolver with Colt styling, solid build quality, and a more realistic price than the Python. It is available in useful barrel lengths and configurations, including versions that make sense for carry, range use, and general-purpose ownership. The trigger is good, the design is sturdy, and it carries the Colt name without reaching the same collector-level pricing as some other models. Now, it is not perfect. Some shooters still prefer the feel of Smith & Wesson actions. Others prefer the tank-like strength of the GP100, and the King Cobra may not have the same legendary status as older Colts, but as a modern .357 revolver, it absolutely belongs here. It gives shooters Colt quality in a package that is actually usable, not just collectible. Number 4. Smith & Wesson Model 19. The Smith & Wesson Model 19 is one of the most beloved .357 revolvers ever made. It was famously associated with law enforcement use and became known as a nearly ideal combat magnum. The idea was simple: give shooters .357 Magnum power in a K-frame revolver that carried better than larger N-frame guns. And for many years, it worked beautifully. The Model 19 points naturally, carries well, and has that classic Smith & Wesson trigger feel that revolver shooters still talk about. It is one of those guns that feels right as soon as you bring it up. But again, honesty matters. Like the Model 66, the Model 19 is not the best choice for endless full-power Magnum punishment. It is a balanced revolver, not a tank. Treat it correctly, and it is one of the finest .357 revolvers ever made. Abuse it, and you are using it outside its ideal role. That balance is exactly why it became legendary. It was powerful enough, light enough, accurate enough, and smooth enough to earn respect for generations. Number 3. Smith & Wesson Model 686. The Smith & Wesson 686 may be the most practical .357 revolver ever made. It takes the strengths of the K-frame guns and adds more durability through the L-frame design. That means it handles Magnum loads better than the Model 19 or Model 66, while still feeling more manageable than a huge N-frame revolver. This is why the 686 became such a favorite. It is strong, accurate, smooth, reliable, and available in multiple barrel lengths. A 4-inch 686 might be one of the best all around .357 revolvers ever created. Good for range use, good for home defense, good for field carry,